Ready? Okay. Hello, I'm LeAnn Cunningham from the Career Development Center. I'm the Employment Relations and Internship Coordinator. And Pat Barnett is here with me today. She'll be coming up after me to do her portion of the presentation. Today we are talking about JobLinks, the online job database from JCCC, and also Resume Wizard. We have tutorials. Do you want to pass that out for her? Thank you for coming. JobLinks, we replaced Career Exec, for those of you who remember Career Exec, last year in the spring. And JobLinks is an online job database that is supplied to us from CSO. CSO serves over 500 career services centers across the United States and Canada and Europe. And there are over 1 million students who use CSO products in colleges and universities. So they give excellent service to us, and we're very happy with this product. What we've done is tailor this to make it our own job database here at JCCC. So when employers call the Career Development Center or me asking if they can post jobs or recruit for students, we direct them to JobLinks. We also do still post paper postings on campus, and you've probably noticed those on job boards in the Career Development Center, also in the Student Center, and right now on the first floor of the library. I want to give you an idea of how students and employers can use this, and a little bit of an idea of how we use it as administrators of the site. So we are on jccc.edu, and the easiest way to get to the Career Development Center is to click on Jobs and Career Services. And then you see 3 columns of information here. The first column on the left is about searching and applying for jobs at JCCC. The middle column is for the Student Career Development Center, which is us. And then on the right is the Community Career Services Center. As you know, we have 2 centers here on campus. But the Student Career Development Center is the one that we are from, and this is the one that serves credit students. So I'm clicking on that. And then to get to JobLinks, we go to the link Get Work Experience. So if you are a student, you would take this route. And then JobLinks for students and job seekers. And there we are. It has a blue heading to it. And students would then create their account or log on by clicking on this page. And this is the log-on page. You will notice that there are terms and conditions that we do want the students to read. And then they can go ahead and begin to create an account by clicking here and get into it. I'm going to go into a new site that we have. There's a new face to this, and I'm going to get to that to do most of the tutorial on my part. And then when Pat works on it, she'll work on the old site. We haven't yet gotten the interface ready to go and gotten it activated, but we'll be doing that probably within the next 2 weeks. So we want you to see what both faces look like. The student face will be redesigned, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So I'm going to go back here because I also want to show you that we have 2 portals. One was for the students. We've got to that through Get Work Experience right here. For employers, Services for Employers, this link, they have a different portal to go in, and it has a green heading, as you'll notice, and then they would log on here or create their account. So 2 different portals. Sometimes that's confusing, and so we want to make sure that you're aware of that. We do want you to know that JobLinks is a very useful tool for students. It has a lot of information in it, not just the ability to search for jobs. And also what makes it unique is the fact that employers are giving us those jobs, specifically because they are recruiting for JCCC. So this is important. And when you're encouraging your students to do a job search, be sure that you mention JobLinks to them and that they need to create their account. It's all free to use. So I'm going to go into the test site, which is a preview site now, to show you what the new interface looks like. Okay, and here we go. I'm going to click here to register so that you understand how to use this if you're a brand new student. Except it's not working on this computer. Okay, sorry, we've tested this and it worked fine in our offices, so I'm not sure why that's happening. So I will go back then to the regular site. Go ahead.
I guess it looked like
The preview didn't load, did it? No. Let's try this. Let's see if this will take me back to, there we are. Okay, here we are. So if you're a student to register for the first time, this is what it looks like. We do ask that they initial that they have read the terms and conditions, and then of course just filling out the boxes that have, or the fields that have the red asterisks next to them. Not all of this information is shown to employers, but we do use this for tracking students when we need to help them as admin on the site. And also it helps with 21,000 students here. It does help keep those accounts separate. You'll notice here under applicant type that students can be either, users can be a JCCC student, an alumni, or a community member. So we do allow community members to use this. There's no cost to them, but we're not blocking that. They are allowed to use it. They can also fill out if they're degree seeking here, if they're an associate's degree or certificate, or if they're going forward on to a bachelor's and so forth. Under majors, they can include a major, and all the majors here are listed. So if they wanted to choose that they were an animation student, they would do that, and then continue on from there. We do ask for a birth date, but that's only shown to us as admins, and we do that only so that we can keep the student profile separate if we need to do some searching. They can also add additional skills, including computer skills. They can add language skills, okay, or additional skills. And by doing that, let's say it's accounting and bookkeeping, they would simply click on it and move it over. All right. A job preference, they can also choose that. Perhaps they're looking for a bookkeeping position. And then they can choose to have their the employer view this account. And if they want to have their account viewed, they would need to check yes, and most of them will be doing that. And then they register for the account. So it's fairly simple to utilize. I'm going to go into my account, my student account, so you get an idea of once the account is set up, what it looks like. And here we are. So here's our home page and our account. my account. We'll go through some of this information more later. The employer directory, job search, career events, and then of course to click sign out. I'll start with career events and workshops. We have loaded this spring's career events and workshops, and they can search for all of those, and they're all listed here. Returning Adult Choices, Choices Workshop, Strengths Workshops are also listed as well. And then if we want to go into job search, we'll go back. For a student who wants to find a job, let's look at that. So if you're a student and you are looking for particular jobs in a certain industry, you can search that way. So let's take a look at accounting jobs. We can do a search, and you can see what's coming up are 3 jobs right now. MGM Marketing has a secretary support person that must have some bookkeeping associated with us, a tax preparer or part-time retirement plan administration assistant. Those are listed. Let's go back to job search. Perhaps we want to search only for, let's say, Overland Park. Let's see what pops up when we do that. Okay, and so these are jobs that are listed in Overland Park. So depending on the search criteria that students put in, it's fairly simple to go in and take a look at that. So let's say this first one is something that I'm interested in. I can email this to a friend, I can submit my resume here, or I can add it to my favorites list here. And my favorites are over here. And this gives you a listing of favorites that I have clicked on. And then if I want to remove that, I simply click on it again. One of the things you'll notice is if you go backwards on this site, it will sometimes kick you out. Let's go on to employer directory. If a student is interested in working for a particular employer and wants to know if there are jobs located here, they can simply type in the name of the company and do a search that way. Here's Capital Federal. They do have a position here. One job is listed, and it is a part-time teller at Prairie Village. And then they can simply click on that, and they can look at the information that it talks about in terms of job description, qualifications, the hours, 26.5 a week, $10 to $11.35 per hour. Application instructions are listed here, and then contact information is also listed. And the employer does this when they post positions. Also under employer directory, perhaps they want to search for under an industry, such as we could say banking, do a search. These are banks that have active accounts online, and some of them have active jobs currently listed. Okay? So that gives you an idea of the scope of employers, and we'll look at that even further when we do some more job searching. If I just simply hit the search button and do a wide search, it gives you an idea of the types of employers that do post here with JobLinks. We get any and every type of job here. We have part-time jobs as well as internships, both paid and unpaid, and full-time positions. And as I said, most of these employers have contacted the Career Development Center to post their jobs. So in many cases, we've spoken directly to the employers who are posting. I'm going to let Pat go through my account with my documents to give you more of an idea about that. Also, I'll mention my connections. CSO has partnered with other companies to interface using Facebook along with this or LinkedIn along with this. So you can set your account up as a student, and actually then as you're job searching, you can search for your contacts on Facebook that may work for that particular company, or the same thing on LinkedIn. So it's pretty user friendly. One of the things I wanted to mention here on, let's look for marketing jobs. Let's see what we find. Okay, here are several positions under marketing. One of the things I wanted to mention to you is they have also partnered with internships.com, Career Rookie, and Career Builder. So you can go directly to those websites from JobLinks. So if I would go to Career Builder, and by the way, Career Rookie is entry-level jobs, internships, part-time jobs. It's a branch of Career Builder, but it's different jobs. Okay. And you will notice that these are everywhere, so of course then you would want to put in your own location and narrow that search down to local jobs. Okay, and that's one other thing I wanted to mention while we were in there. Now I'd like to show you what the employer sees when the employer goes in. And this is taking them directly to the portal that I showed you on our website, which is under Services for Employers. And I'm putting in my test account, which I use to show employers what they see. And my profile works basically the same way, but they have two different links. Job searcher link, so job seeker search link, so they can search for job seekers, and my jobs. Under my jobs, going to a new job, you can see we show them some of the rules that we have in terms of jobs, and also what the post date, the expire date, and so forth means. And then also just notice in red that we do not accept commission-only jobs here at the college in the Career Development Center. If there's a base pay and commission, we have a series of questions to ask them. And that way we have pretty quality criteria in terms of weeding out jobs. And then the employer simply fills this out as well. They can choose job categories, position types, applicant types. Most of them leave this open for the most part, and will accept alumni or community or students. And then, of course, they can put more criteria in as well. Under job seeker search, they could search for students who may have put down, let's say, accounting or auditing. And here is a listing of those students. So it's a pretty easy way for them to search and find students. You'll notice these squares next to some of the students. These are students who have uploaded a resume. I won't click on these students' names because it will pop up their profile. So for privacy's sake, during this tutorial, I won't do that. But it's very easy then for the employer to go in and review the resume and see what it looks like and contact the student. As far as student contact information, what's shown is there is the student address, the student phone number, and the student email. Okay. let's see. I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what this looks like. There's more information, but just getting in and using the site is what's important. The most important thing that we want to relate to faculty out of this is please encourage your students to use JobLinks. It's a very important site here at our college in terms of employers connecting with students. And we want every student to be on this. I will mention here very briefly, for those of you who may want to know, well, how many students are using this? I'm going to go into my admin account for you just briefly so you can get an idea of the numbers of people who are using this currently. Right now, let's take a look at job seekers. We'll do a search on the database, and I'm going to do a search on active and just very broadly see how many total job accounts we have, or student accounts as well as community and alumni, and that's 1,323. If I want to find out how many of those are current JCCC students, and again, I want to search for active. It's 950 students currently have an account in JobLinks that's active. And then if you want to know how many alumni are using this, we have about 186 currently. Now, employers who have active accounts in here currently, right now we have 769 employers. That gives you an idea of who has currently put an account on, all right? And then under jobs, for active jobs, we have 160 jobs that are active currently. This gives you an idea of the different types of jobs. Every day, our administrative assistant or myself go in and approve jobs. So right now we have waiting for us 4 jobs that we need to approve, and this gives you an idea that we do have jobs that come in literally every day. Those came in just this morning. Okay, I think that gives you a good overview. Do you have any questions about what you've seen so far? No? Okay. All right. So then, I'm going to have Pat.
So here we are on the home page, and I'm going to go to my account and then my documents section. And really all the information you would need to know about how to navigate this section, they've got very good helps within the section here on organizing your documents. And the kind of documents, first you could upload a cover letter. You could upload a resume that you already have. You could upload references, your reference page. If you have unofficial transcripts or letters of recommendation, any of these documents can be uploaded to just manage from right in this section. What we'll focus on today, however, will be the section for resumes. And first I want to show probably, if you already have a resume ready to go, you can simply upload that from here. And you're going to give the document a name. and then find its location. And as the information indicates to you, the best types of documents are going to be probably a text document or a PDF, but you could also upload a Word document. I'm going to upload my PDF. And so here it is. You see the options that you have now. Let's take a view. And so this would be ready to go if this is the one that you would want to use. When you have any resume at all, you're going to have a default resume. So if you have only one, that will be your default resume, and that will be the one that employers can view if you have allowed the viewing for that. If you have more than one, you will be able to decide which will be the default resume, and you can switch that. You see, I have a couple others that are already here. Would like to go ahead and show you about using the Resume Wizard. And this is a template, but it is a template that has a lot of flexibility, as you will see. And the Resume Wizard is part of what we designed when we designed how we would use our CSO product. This is another product that's embedded within this product from CSO that we contract with. And when you're using the wizard, you can see immediately that you can start brand new, or you could import data from an existing resume within the wizard and work with it that way. First, let's take a look at starting with creating a new resume using the wizard. So first of all, the contact information, the personal information. It will pull this from your profile that you create to even get into your account here. If you need to change any of the information, you could certainly do that here. And then just continue. It will take you step by step. You can choose chronological, which is probably the format that would be preferred by employers, but you may also choose a functional or other formats that they have available. We'll just leave it at chronological for our purposes today. And so we'll continue. And next we see the recommended sections. With each section that's recommended, you have the option to just delete it or to change the order either up or down within this list. You could add another section as well. Let's go ahead and add another section while we're here. Something like associations or affiliations. Some people may or may not want to include an objective. You could simply delete that right here if you wanted to. You can always go back and modify. You can navigate very easily from one section to another as well as you move through this wizard. So if I already changed my mind, if I want to go back and change the format to functional, I could navigate back and forth at any time. At this point, let's go ahead and continue. And you want to give it a title. And let's just call it a test. At any point along the way, let me point this out too. You can click on these helps. There are a lot of helps and advice that you can get along the way with building your resume. And so even with the title, you have a lot of helps right here that can indicate what kind of position you're going to be seeking with this particular resume. In fact, let's go ahead and just try one of these. Let's do a budget manager. So that's in addition to what I already put in there. You can continue to modify all throughout the wizard. And so now the first section, remember, that we had in that list was the objective. And you could even change what you want to call that. Maybe you want to call it job target. And so it's changed what we even call this section. This gives the most immediate explanation of what this section should be about, but you're also going to be able to go to see some other phrases, look at action words, the verbs, and to view some of the examples and advice. If someone is really new to building a resume, these can be your friend. These will really help you understand what it's about and what will be the most effective things you could include with this section. So it talks about when to use an adjective, what some of the advantages and disadvantages might be, how to write that and avoid the mistakes. Very useful information. So we're done with that. Let me show the phrases. So here are a lot of examples of what this job target, how we might express that. And this is, notice, under the general category. But maybe we want to look at some suggestions based on skills. And so you see a lot of phrases here, and maybe you want to use that one. So if you click on it, and then you can modify that just as it is, and it's going to be able to move your resume building right along. Let's say as an administrative assistant, utilizing computer knowledge. And so this let's say that this really does express what I would like to indicate for employers as my job target. Now at this point I could save and finish, but I'm not finished, so I'm going to continue. The next section is a summary section, and yeah, maybe you want to see what that's about. So you get some expert tips again if you needed that. It tells you immediately what's typically here, the number of years of related work experience, any significant achievements that are relevant to the job that you're seeking, and summarizing those skills and making sure to include keywords. Well, let me get some more ideas. And again, these are under general, so let's look at administrative kind of support kind of phrases. And I'm just going to choose this one just to move us along. And you could completely put in your own. You don't necessarily have to pull from one of these phrases. So again, you've got a lot of options. Let's say I've got more than 5 years, and this all is accurate, or I could leave out part of it. Remember, got a lot of flexibility within this wizard. And so then it's going to give you the chance to enter your work experience. And again, let's look at some more of the phrases. And you will notice that these are going to be most like what we call accomplishment statements. And with those, they're phrases beginning with action verbs. And so they've done a really good job of showing examples of just what we encourage students to do. So let's put in a couple. I'm going to go ahead and make them separate lines like this, and I think they will become bulleted items as we move through, or actually, let's go ahead and bullet them now. That's going to make it easier to read about 3 times faster when they're bulleted like that. So let's say that we've got all our relevant experience on there, and then we're going to go to the education section. But you could also add another to the work experience, add another employment. Same will be true then when you're working with the education section. But again, use all these helps along the way. I won't take the time now to fill these out, but let's continue to where we're at the end. So we take a look. It's using the style of what they call Colorado, but you'll have choices on styling as well as the formatting. So since I didn't put anything there, you're going to see what the recommendations are for those sections, but for those sections where we've entered things, you'll see how those are all right here. And so we've built our resume within the wizard. Now the last thing that you want to do is to decide, are you going to have it viewable for employers or not? And so a private setting will keep that resume link from being viewed by others. Now, if you want the employers to view it, then you, of course, want the public viewing. So now, you see what we just created here. There's our name, and we see the other resumes that were in my documents. And so you can manage and navigate through the various ones right from this screen. So when you go back then to the My Documents section, you'll always have to click OK. And by the way, every time you do any type of modification or access to any of your resumes here, you will receive an email message from the CSO. It'll be an automatic reply from the JobLinks that will thank you for submitting your resume. So you will get that into your email, to your inbox, each time you do anything at all with those resumes. Now, it is possible to upload a file using the wizard. It's going to almost be more work than just starting from the beginning or uploading the document, but you can do it. So let's just take a quick look. And I learned earlier that I need to copy and paste. And I'm going to take the text document. Okay. Oh, now where do I go? No. Yeah. Well, I did not get back to the wizard. Let me see if it will let me go this way, since I should have it still copied. Oops. Cross fingers, yay, there it is. So then submit. See the information here plugged into these categories. Now, this is the part, however, that it's, even though it was a text document, that is the best for the wizard to work with, probably. There still will be things that you're going to have to go through with a fine-tooth comb. Here's the next employment information that belongs down here in this section. And so Oops, wrong thing. See, so it does get to be a hassle. And I don't know of any way to make it easier. So you would have to work with it. But let's say we've made all the changes and move forward. The import of the text document to work with in the wizard was successful. However, when we view this, you'll see. So a lot of this is messed up. So you can work with it, it just will take more. So my recommendation would be either just to use the wizard from the beginning, load everything into the wizard, or upload your document that you have. Okay. And this is the one we just worked with. I'm going to go ahead and delete that now. Just a few more things to point out here with your management of your documents. We already talked about you can change to set a different one as your default. This one, which is currently my default, notice there's no way to remove unless you set this one as a default. And now you can remove it. The recommendation is to have your most generic resume as your default resume. It will work the best to provide more flexibility with when employers are searching. And so you can remove, you can update. To update on this one, you would first download it to your desktop or your flash drive, make your changes, and then upload it back. So we've seen how to use the wizard to create a brand new resume, use it to modify a file that you've uploaded. And you could also just upload your file. Now, with this new job seeker face that is coming, the terminology just varies slightly. It's going to look very similar to this. Instead of upload terminology, upload a file, it will say add. There'll be a link that you can add a document. So that's really the only difference for this section once we do move to the new face for the job seeker. I want to go back into the wizard. Nope, it's not the one. That's what I just went to. Let me go into the wizard. I forgot to show where there were more helps built right into the wizard. You can look at sample resumes. We're on this resumes and letters tab, and you could look at lots of samples. And then there's also interview and salary tab. So again, more help if you wanted to look at some examples and again, more options to view by career title or by industry. So let's see for a recent grad accounting professional. So it's going to give a really nice example. What about by industry? and by format. So let's just look at functional ones. Let's go back to this kind of position. And remember, a functional format is what will be best to help you showcase your relevant skills and accomplishments. The focus is there more so on any work history, although the work history, of course, is included. So you can look at lots of examples. Let's look at some sample cover letters. So before the interview, now, while this gives you some good advice, some good examples, you still would want to probably make your own Word document, copy and paste your contact information for your own personal letterhead, and compose your letter. But this would certainly give you options to get a lot of examples. And then after the interview, you would want to certainly follow up with some thank you correspondence. And so let's say that you again, you can see lots and lots of examples. If you're a person who really kind of has trouble with what words, how can I at least get started, this can be very helpful for you. Let's go back to the Resume Center then, and with the other tab on interviewing and salary. And so you've got the tips and advice and videos. Here's a whole article on some of the best interviewing tips. Of course, you could print it off. Many, many options, lots of helps, all right within the wizard itself. So I would encourage students, any job seekers, to take advantage of a lot of the helps that are available right within the wizard, but also take advantage of using this My Documents section to help you with your job search. It'll organize all your documents and keep your search on track so that you know which employers, which opportunities you've responded to, and which ones you're watching and considering. So it's really a good site to organize your whole job search. I don't know if there are any questions that we would have at this point. There's not. No fee for employers. Yes, both. Absolutely, absolutely. Both the employer, a new employer account, and individual jobs are previewed and approved or not. Right. If an account has not been active for 6 months, that I believe is when we have the deactivation automatic.
Yeah, it's 2 years for students. We're allowing 2 years for inactive for students. But we do a review of those as well. More current than that.
And employers, was it?
And the job postings are made inactive by default after 1 month unless the employer sends a different expire date.
Mm-hmm. Good questions. Any others? enjoyed learning about the JobLinks and Resume Wizard, and best of luck in your job search.